My dear friends, today I'll be discussing about the treatment or management of restrictive cardiomyopathy. Now, restrictive cardiomyopathy means because of cardiac muscle pathology, there is a restriction in the diastolic expansion of the heart, and it restricts the normal function of heart, leading to the diastolic dysfunction, which if not prevented or treated may leads to diastolic heart failure in future. So that is restrictive cardiomyopathy. Now there are many causes or etiology or risk factors of restrictive cardiomyopathy, and most common cause is amyloidosis. Besides, there may be sarcoidosis and various glycogen storage disease, which are also responsible for causing restrictive cardiomyopathy. So today we'll be try to focus on the treatment regime or ways of management of restrictive cardiomyopathy. Now, as we know, restrictive cardiomyopathy may be because of several causes. It may be because of many drug toxicity, it may be because of amyloidosis, it may be because of sarcoidosis or Niemann-Pick disease or Gaucher disease or Fabry's disease. So, to treat restrictive cardiomyopathy, we have to first find out the cause or the etiology or the causative factor behind that, or what diseases or what clinical condition has lead to the restrictive cardiomyopathy. And after we find the cause behind that, we can treat the cause first or treat the etiology first. So our main target, as soon as we diagnose the disease, we have to find out the cause, and or we have to treat the cause or prevent the cause so as to prevent further progression of the disease and for prevention of the complication of the disease, as well as to treat the disease. So we have to treat the various causes or etiology or clinical condition that are responsible for causing restrictive cardiomyopathy. For example, in case of sarcoidosis, we have to go for corticosteroids, and in case of amyloidosis also specific therapy we have to be given. So we have to treat amyloidosis accordingly, we have to treat sarcoidosis accordingly. For sarcoidosis we treat with corticosteroids, and for glycogen storage disease we have to limit some special type of, or we have to go for dietary restrictions. In special type of metabolic disorders we have to go for special type of dietary restrictions, and depending on the sign symptom of the disease we have to treat accordingly. Now let's come to the treatment of the restrictive cardiomyopathy. So the main treatment or to prevent further progression of the restrictive cardiomyopathy, we have to limit the sodium restriction. So one of the important management for RCM is sodium restriction, because in RCM is or restrictive cardiomyopathy may be associated with diastolic dysfunction, and because of that there is a diastolic heart failure which may leads to sodium and water retention and swelling at various parts of the body. So to prevent the swelling or pedal edema, we have to restrict the sodium in our diet. Number 2, we have to prescribe diuretics like furosemide or Ditor or torsemide, these group of drugs which are responsible for excretion of urine or excretion of water through urine, and ultimately prevents and relief from all type of edema in various parts of the body, especially the legs. So diuretics plays important role in relieving from the or getting rid of swelling, pedal edema or swelling of the legs and various dependent parts of the body. Then we can prescribe angiotensin E converting enzyme inhibitor. Angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors like captopril, eosinophil, lisinopril. So these are various ACE inhibitors which plays important role in maintaining the normal function of heart. It also keeps the blood pressure normal. It also prevents the function of aldosterone, which is responsible for sodium water retention, and at the same time it also prevents the cardiac modeling or abnormality of the heart muscle. It also prevents, or cardiac structural wall changes, it also prevents and normalizes the heart structure or musculature of the heart, and thus it also responsible for maintaining the normal function of heart. So angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors can be used or can be prescribed for those patients for treating the RCM the main disease proper. Beside, sometime RCM may be associated with heart abnormality or rhythm abnormality, and for that anticoagulation must be added, because anticoagulation prevents any risk of thrombotic disorders, or any heart abnormal rhythm or palpitation may be there because of a heart abnormality or cardiac rhythm abnormality. All these disorders must be treated with anticoagulation. So these are the various treatment regime for restrictive cardiomyopathy proper. Beside, if the patient is suffering from restrictive cardiomyopathy because of amyloidosis, we cannot prescribe calcium channel blocker. So calcium channel blocker is contraindicated if the patient suffers from restrictive cardiomyopathy because of amyloidosis or amyloidosis related RCM. Most of the RCM or restrictive cardiomyopathy is mainly because of amyloidosis. So in majority of the patients, calcium channel blockers are not prescribed or it is contraindicated. If the patient is presenting with RCM or restrictive cardiomyopathy along with atrial fibrillation, then we are going to prescribe digoxin, calcium channel blocker, and beta blockers. Digoxin is a antiarrhythmic drug. It is an inotropic agent as well as it prevents arrhythmia, and beta blocker is also prevents arrhythmia. It prevents tachycardia and abnormal heart rhythm also it blocks. It also prevents ectopics. Besides, calcium channel blocker also play an important role. So those patients who are suffering from atrial fibrillation associated with restrictive cardiomyopathy, then beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, and digoxin can be advised. Lastly, if restrictive cardiomyopathy is presented with or complicates to heart failure, then cardiac transplantation is the only treatment of choice, because sometimes restrictive cardiomyopathy, which is a diastolic dysfunction, may complicate to form diastolic heart failure. Even the further complication may involve the systolic function of heart and finally leads to systolic heart failure also. So RCM, it may leads to heart failure, both systolic and diastolic, and it may reach to a stage of end stage heart failure also. So for those patients who has reached to a stage of end stage heart failure, cardiac transplantation or heart transplantation is the only procedure by which we can increase the survivability of the patient, or we can make the patient survive from this critical condition. So for that time, if the RCF leads to end stage heart failure or end stage heart disease, then cardiac transplantation is indicated, and it is the only method by which we can help in increasing the survivability of the patient. Besides, we can also go for left ventricular assisting device or heart failure device in some patients who are sensitive to this treatment, or for those who cannot suited for cardiac transplantation, then left ventricular assisting device can be used so as to make the patient survive or prolong the life of the survivability of the patients. So surgical treatment is the last sort of the disease. Otherwise, RCM is managed by medical treatment only, and when RCM ultimately leads to heart failure, it may lead to cardiac transplantation or left ventricular assisting device, which can ultimately prevent the precipitation of heart failure in the RCM complicated cases. So these are the various treatment regime or management principle of restrictive cardiomyopathy. So main target is that we have to treat the cause and etiology. If it is amyloidosis, we have to treat the amyloidosis. If it is sarcoidosis, if the cause or etiology of the restrictive cardiomyopathy is sarcoidosis, we have to treat the sarcoidosis with corticosteroids. Then for treating the disease proper or restrictive cardiomyopathy proper, we have to prescribe diuretics so as to relieve from the fluid accumulation in the body or edemas in the various parts, dependent parts of the body. Then angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, then anticoagulants, then also we can advise sodium restriction. So this is various drugs or management for restrictive cardiomyopathy disease proper. Beside, for those patients who are associated with atrial fibrillation or heart rhythm abnormality associated with restrictive cardiomyopathy, then we can prescribe beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, digoxin, and so on. So these are the various treatment policy or management strategy for patients who are suffering from restrictive cardiomyopathy. Thank you very much.